My name is Mr. Lucas, the guy for the Custom Built Lifestyle, and we just wanted to just let you know about relationships, living a custom built lifestyle, living the life that God has anointed and wanted you to live through your gifts, your skills, your talents, and abilities. And I'm honored to sit with these two kings next to me, and they have some things that's going to share. And whatever stages you are, as far as the development of your business, God got you. Don't be afraid. And they're going to tell you some things that are going to enlighten you. They're going to encourage you. They're going to empower you because you make a difference. And we need your gifting. We need your talents. We need your abilities. And to my right and my left, and to your left and your right, we're going to have number one. He called them, these are brothers in the spirit realm, brothers in the natural, but not from the same mother. But this way, you're going to find out what a relationship would do. And so I'm honored to have right now Mr. Horace and Mr. Darcy Ogandaga. And some exciting things been happening. You know, you used to be here in the ATL.
Yes.
Now you're hanging out in Florida. You kind of left. You kind of left for a little while.
Yes, that's true.
So, but you've been progressing.
Yes.
You was in Atlanta. You did a lot of things, even in the civilian world. You changed a lot of lives. You did mechanical stuff. Set police station. You did a whole lot of great things.
Oh, I forgot about you. Remember that?
No, I remember the details.
Oh, wow.
You're talking about the inter-systems that you connected.
Wow.
Systems here in Fulton County. You did a lot of things. But last night at midnight, today is a brand new day. We want to talk about what's happening now.
Yes.
And I want to say thank you for sneaking in. By the way, he snuck in. He flew in this morning to visit us.
5 a.m.
Wow. 5 a.m. Imagine that one. So I just want to say thank you for that. And, you know, some people, I call them the custom built man. They're like spiritual sons to me. I'm honored to have wisdom around me. The expertise and the think people want about what I do is not about me. It's these guys have been launching me for years. And everybody think, oh, you do it, you're this. It's not about me. It's about pure relationship. And for someone know more than you, let them have the reign. And I like to push these guys further and further. They're already rising. The whys are awesome. Their families are great. And you're going to hear about that. How good their families are doing what they're doing. Yeah. So I want you to pay close attention. Let's start off with this point, man. I want them to introduce themselves, and then we're going to go from there. First, I want to introduce both of them. We're going to say who they are, then I'm going to go to Brother Darcy as well, okay? So just say who you are so they'll know, and say you there, what's your queen's name, and then we're going to launch that Brother Darcy to say that, shift it back to you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Got me. Hello all, I'm Horace Taylor. My wife is Colleen Taylor. I have 4 children, been married about 20, going on 28 years this year.
Woo! Yeah. Can you repeat that slowly?
You
going on 28 years. So, yeah. So we've been legal for what, 7? Legal age.
That was underground stuff. Y'all don't know about that.
Yeah. So.
Thank you very much. And to your left, my right. Go ahead, Mr. Darcy.
So my name is Darcy Ogandaga. The name of my spouse, my wife, is Danida Ogandaga. And we have 3 children. And we've been married this year for 20 years. So, now, I don't want to talk too much, but, sometimes we always say that we don't worship a man. But if it wasn't for the wisdom that we receive from Brother Jimmie, it will be extremely hard 20 years. But it was some good 20 years because of his wisdom and also for the wisdom of his good brother, Minister Baker.
Yes.
Those 2 men in our life, my life and Horace Taylor's life, they help us so much to learn so many things. The reason why we're doing this video is to show you the power of a relationship. But first of all, you need to know what Horace Taylor can do, been doing, and is about to do. So go ahead.
Fire away.
I'm here trying to promote you guys.
No, you don't promote yourself today.
We got to.
Okay, watch.
Look, he loved to be behind the scenes. That's.
Yes.
But he got to uncover the gift.
Yes.
And for you guys.
Yes.
And it's okay. You always supposed to have more behind the counter, what's on top. But today, we wanted to bring him to the surface because he changed a lot of lives. So we need to talk about him for a moment. It's okay. Come to the surface. Let God's anointing be known in the earth. Go ahead.
Yes. So, you know, thank you for that, of course. And I share things that I say in private. So, number one, you were discussing about what we learned from Brother Jimmie and Brother Baker. And I want to say this to the people out there listening. You have knowledge, you know things. You have wisdom, you know how to execute it. And you say, oh, this person gave me the wisdom. But the most powerful thing I think we can agree is that we had the opportunity to be exposed and see it modeled before us. Because a lot of people can tell you, it scares me when I hear people say, I tell people, and I say, who's telling you anything? And then even if you tell people, I see you telling people, but what do I see you doing? And there's an old term in our ministry, if you want the truth, ask the children. And I think we can agree, we ask any of our kids, they'll say, oh, they're the real deal. So I want to add that. I tell my brother Darcy, I tell people, I talk about him a lot as well. I say, sometimes the things I DJ now, do live sound. I'm actually a producer for a podcast as well. And I would say, it's not that I want to do these things. I'm afraid that you guys call me, pick the phone, what you got going on? I have to do something because these guys, they talk and they go. And I'm so appreciative to have people in my circle supportive like that push me, because it's terrifying to be the top man of your crowd, to be the smartest person in the circle. You know, I'm out there, like I can be out there DJing before a whole crowd and I look like nothing's wrong. But inside I'm like nervous at first. But then once I get into it, I'm in my own zone. You know?
So you execute. That's the key.
Yeah.
You execute.
The key thing is to just go and trust God. You know? Just go and trust God. You know, I say to people sometimes, I'm gonna do something crazy like trust God. Allow him to, lead me and guide me, because if it's not bigger than me, I'm terrified, because who's going to catch me?
That's good.
I never want to be in a place where I don't need him. When I'm doing live sound, I came in, I just had an ear. I'm still learning. The true level of maturity is when you realize you never stop growing, never stop learning.
Come on now.
The true level of immaturity or lack of maturity is when you think you reached. So I sit in rooms. I remember when I was on the radio with the 72 hours of praying to God about should I be a DJ or whatever. And I had some opposition, and I said it right there online. I said, I'm not qualified to be here. Neither you, even the station manager. I said, I'm here because God allowed me to be here. And if God's for me, who could be against me? When it's my time to go, I'll go. I never showed up, not one single day, feeling entitled to being out there. And so it's something powerful. We met in the restroom at World Changers.
You remember those things, and that
20.
You talking about 25 years ago?
Yeah, and he'd always say, "God's leading me to write a book one day." And I said, "Yeah, we write that book. Let me know." And I only met him in the bathroom. He's there in a suit and tie, sharp, like he's on the front row, but he's in the bathroom.
Serving people in the bathroom. Give them tissue so people can wash their hands.
Exactly.
We had peppermints. We had things.
All these things.
Thank you for
Yeah. So
you lead to serve.
So I draw from those things. Brother Darcy, I seen him through the most horrific situations, and he just like, I gotta go. I gotta trust God. I have to believe God. I'm called for something greater. Like I never. How can I always say how to put it? I would say Darcy is my first true encounter with an eagle. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, you have pigeons, they just walk around and pick whatever. You have buzzards who wait for something that's dead. eagles are strategic. They can't think ground talk. I saw an eagle take a snake up to kill a snake across from my house, across the street. He didn't fight the snake down there. He took the snake up to his level.
I want to say something. Notice what you said.
A snake.
He went to their level, and he took them to another level.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
You just said something about relationship, stewardship, and leadership. You just said the most important three things right now in the whole world. You just, and that's my heartbeat. My whole life is circled around those things, and every person listening to us, you just amplified what I've been anointed, appointed, and called to do without even saying it. And I watch those things being active in both you guys' lives. You led your family. You led in your finances. You led when you told your children, we still can do this, and we might not have that. So you led it with vision, not sight. I watch you guys do that. Y'all didn't just lead with sight, because your eyes are for seeing, with vision for purpose and destiny. And that's what excited me about you guys. And you and I also, before we cross over to Brother Josh, you said I had somebody with me.
Yeah. Yes.
Relationally.
Yes.
And guess what he did? Exhorted his brother. He exhorted his brother. And I want to say to men out there, we got to keep that up and keep it pure in our heart, because we got to stop being silos. Too many men use COVID, and you've been in a silo of your life, but COVID just was an excuse to be able to flow in it. Wrong answer. Right. So I'm so honored, and I know as he called you Bill Gates, he wanted you to talk all because he's doing some awesome things. But before you end, go ahead and launch into what you said. You told us you were doing some awesome things, and then I like you said you're sharing with your family, your occupation.
Yeah.
Your queen is orchestrating, facilitating things.
Yes. And
making other people greater, even in our profession, as she's operating two medical facilities. Imagine that being an operator of that as well.
Yes.
So I want to let you guys know out there, they kind of like downplaying what they do is at levels that many, many desire. I'll say this because I know they won't. Because I've watched them grow. I watched them connect with their families. And then wait till in a minute, so we're going to sneak over to hear Mr. Ogandaga talk about some things as well. But before we sneak over, because I know you try to run like Forrest and give somebody else an opportunity because you made it like that. But say something about, you were sharing with me when your children go through, you encourage them. Today, you were just sharing with me today about how you encourage your children. Because before we get to Darcy, you're going to hear some awesome things about what I just recently saw about his child. And then when she had her Sweet 16. But go ahead.
Like, it's relevant. Just being with around people of character. I used to do tech support for Darcy, Brother Darcy, before he got to this big, huge guys, got staff and everything around the world. And I remember there was one time, believe it or not, he said, "Man, I don't have anything to pay you." I said, "Brother, I'm not charging you." He said, No, I have to give you something. I have to. And he gave me this small board. I have it to this day, little soundboard.
Really?
Yeah.
And internally, I was embarrassed because I'm like, I don't know how to use this thing. But he just thinks I'm so smart, But also, I had insecurities that I realized. That's a whole nother segment. And so when I look now that we have a thing called a writer. Like I do sound for a reggae band now. And we have to call ahead of time, months in advance, to say this is what we need. We're going to have this type of equipment, this wattage, whatever. And I'm looking at these big rigs that I'm working on now. And I'm, the sound guy here, 'cause I had the DJ do sound, I handpicked him. I said, the guy we had last year, we don't want him. We want this guy. we'll talk, and I'm directing him, and to see it come that far from that little board, or just being in the circle with someone. He started with a laptop, a little laptop camera, a webcam.
Wow.
And now we're in his studio, at one of his buildings, and it's a big deal. So it's hard for me to tell my story without putting it out there.
And I like what you just said. It was never your story. You said because others made your story. You see what he said? He said, I really can't tell my story by telling somebody else's story. You get that? Because there's no, remember we were talking about earlier about silos. You just made it a point and you just validated what by the grace of God, I was disseminated earlier because you said, this success, what people think is great, this is not even the level they're seeing right now. But to some others say, wow. But to these gentlemen, that's just God's love standard on their lives. Mm-hmm. So I want to say thank you so much for that wisdom. And I like how you said it. It wasn't about me. It was a unified effort of others that made me successful and making me successful in various venues. So, hey, and this is another point, man, and I'm just, you understand how proud I was.
But before that, I want Bill Gates to tell people how they can reach out to you if they need to walk. And what is the difference between a regular DJ and a live architect that you are? Because I really need to know the difference. It's not the same. Please.
I tell you like this. I had a customer recently. We did another private listing party. Some artists were there. Someone wanted us to DJ, so they asked our price. We gave them the price, and they said, "That much, dog?" I said, "Well, it's perspective." And you guys know me. I'm very quiet about things, but one thing I learned: everybody does podcasts, everybody does speaking engagements, everybody DJs. What makes you different? What makes me different is I prayed on this. I'm passionate about this. I'm family branded. It's a husband and wife effort. It's a family effort. I care when we DJ. You have DJs that show up to play music. They plug up 2 speakers, sometimes 1 and a laptop. They play, okay, we shut down. The time we're contracted for, we play that entire duration. 4 hours, you get music for 4 hours. We throw in 2 hours ahead of time professionally. We set up. We're up and running. We do sound check, number 1. As DJs, we do sound check. We look for people in the crowd because a lot of people don't think about it, but we've been doing this professionally going on 9 years. Mm-hmm. One thing we know is that we play like this is their last event because we get the phone calls. Hey, you remember that video? That person, they never had so much fun in their life. That was their last event. So we're giving you I don't care if it's a kiddie birthday party, if it's a wedding, it's the best event of your life. That's what we do. And I'll say this lastly, we do live sound. A lot of DJs, you rarely find a DJ who knows how to do live sound. You rarely find a sound engineer who knows how to DJ. They say they can, they don't. We do.
You know what? Since you just mentioned it, I like what we're going to have to educate sound people the correct way.
Yeah.
And you've been in the game, now that's a professional, but you've been behind the scenes, been doing this.
His own life.
Life. You come from a dad. So we're going to talk about that in the next because Brother Darcy, you open a can of worms. And it's like, and the people out there like piranhas. They want it. They eat it. They eat it. They want to eat this meat because of the wisdom that you just shared. Because I didn't even think about it because you guys are more music inclined. And I just want to say some guess who also was a DJ years ago. Mm-hmm. Hello.
But this is why I say that. Yeah. Now, there's something that I want him to say that he didn't say. When we DJ back in the day, We put the sound go from one direction.
Oh,
So it means that for where I am as a DJ,
yes,
I put the speaker, I need to hear the music myself, and I put it loud enough in my mind that I can reach according to the size of the room. He knows how the sound travels. So the way the music is going to be is never going to be too loud. It's never going to be too low. And that is extremely important for you to be able to listen to music and talk with each other. So just for that, you have a right to charge 300% more than anybody else. Okay,
that's
it's the science of it.
We call it the science of sound and designing a room.
See, I didn't know that. I understand logic.
Yeah, because most DJs, they're gonna go and they're just gonna just put the music and blast it.
Because they're not sound engineers.
They blast the music. So sometimes the music can be good, but it's too loud. We cannot even hear the difference of music.
I've been around that a lot. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of churches are like that.
And of course, because we don't know. There's some kids running stuff is not professional. Yeah. So there's a way to put the bass and the treble. When you have two, the bass need to be 50% and the treble about 75-80%, depending of what kind of music you're playing. If you play reggae, you have to set up the sound differently. I know because we talk about global music now. Yes. If you play house music, you have to be bass first. If you play hip hop, you have to balance it out. If it's Afro pop, more bass than treble because the way the music is mixed. So when you pay for somebody who be in the game globally for a long time, that's what you pay for. So we're not here to argue with our price.
Right.
Our price is a full sentence.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is it. And then after that, we understand. And that's it. We don't go back and forth.
Business beside the business. And I want to say something. What you just said was so important. Because people always want to negotiate your expertise. But they have not did or survived some things that they have gone through that you don't even know about. But they made it through. And they have a right. And especially as believers, we have to stop. And then people like to use this term, can I get a hookup?
I have a bar for that. We talk about the bar.
Educate me. Let me know what you got.
You negotiate for merchandise, but you celebrate expertise. You negotiate for merchandise. Because the merchandise is a merchandise. So merchandise in the world is merchant.
Yes.
So we have to, but the expertise.
That's been developed.
You cannot. There's no negotiation when it comes to expertise.
Since you say that, I remember with actually you and I went to a Mike Murdoch conference years ago, and something I learned pretty powerful. He was selling something I think it was like $2,500, and he said, "Oh my gosh, that's a lot." And he said, "Okay, is it a lot?" He said, I'm putting together a package for $2,500 that cost me $300,000 to learn. So when you charge your price for speaking engagements, when you charge your price, to come out and speak or do whatever it is, they're paying a fraction of what it costs you to work 2 and 3 jobs, take care of your children, learn the hard way, get scammed out of your money. People say they're going to sew into it and change their mind at the last minute, and you're on the hook and things like that. Cars breaking down on the way to events. I give a plug to Brother Miles Mussenden. He was telling me a story one time about him driving across country for an interview. An audition. And the transmission went out. So when we see him on a red carpet, a big screen, you don't know. We're conditioned to only want to hear about the glory, but not the story.
Come on now.
So when like when he's talking about the eagle, about him being an eagle, we have to have eagle mindsets where, okay, you know what? We're not going to wait for dead things. We're not going to walk around and pigeon talk. It's going to be like, this is what I charge. When you ask me why so much, that's my time to bring you to my level and educate you. If it's too high for you,
then you're
it's
not,
okay.
But right now, you're not the one that need my service.
Yeah, and it's okay. Everyone is not my customer.
That's it.
That's it.
That's okay, because I don't know no judgment on anybody else, but we tell our clients this: when you sign with us, when you sign that contract, we're family. We care about your event going on. If we show up, and this is something we do, some people say, "Oh, you should charge more." If more people show up than expected, okay, because they say, well, I'm only going to have about 50 or 60 people. How much does the venue hold? About 200. Okay, so suppose 200 show up. We had to prepare for that. Okay, so if you know for a fact it's only going to be 50 or 60, get a room that holds a 50 or 60 because our brand is not going to be embarrassed because we have like a little boom box playing. And then because we're family, we don't want you to be embarrassed because you got Radio Raheem playing for your event, We want it to be professional and then, public, private, just between us. They always get more than what they pay for.
Come on now.
That's the hookup you'll get. We just don't tell you. You'll get more than what you pay for, but we're not gonna dip down.
Wow. I would say, did you just hear that? So one thing about it, in other words, you always give more. Seed more, you give more. Yeah. That's a law of reciprocity. Yeah. One thing about it, you're sowing like that.
Right.
You cannot lose. Because sometimes, I like what he said, did you know, often sometimes a seed is better than a sale. He said, I tell you what, I might even go to the highest price I want to. Just because we use the F word, family. And sometimes you go to the cheapest, guess what you get? Mm-hmm. The cheapest.
The cheapest.
That's it.
So don't inquire about the quality if you're not willing to invest. No, I didn't say pay for. Mm-hmm. I said invest. Mm-hmm. Time, energy, money, and effort. That's called. This is investment into the next level that you want to go to. So
you said something.
What's that?
Time.
Oh, you mean?
Because remember, a lot of us were told to sow, but we don't have money. You and I, we didn't have money in the beginning. We had time.
You know what time is? Talk. Telling people your passion, initiating with love, managing time and resources and energy, and the E, expecting, exiting the old way of doing the entering. That's what time is. Same with that's a little thing that on time I already had. It's been go teaching on time. But now let's go to Mr. Ogandaga.
All right, so where do I start? So like I said, my name is Darcy Ogandaga. You watch it on my channel everywhere. But this is how I'm going to start.
Who's your queen? Tell us about your queen and your family.
Yes, so my wife's name is Danida Ogandaga, and I have 3 kids, Talmer, Butu, and Ogo. Now, talk about my Father's Day was a few days ago, so I have to talk a little bit about who I am and what I'm doing, the way I'm doing things. So I was very influenced in my life by what my parents did. So I did the interview. I was in Paris a few weeks ago. I will give more details with my mom. I did the interview, and the interview is bilingual. Like this one will be bilingual. You should be able to see subtitle in French when I'm talking. My dad always showed me that business and family and purpose are together. So the reason, and we talked about that with Bill Gates a long time ago. He told me that because of the way you live, you and your wife, your children's gonna be special. So when my daughter at 4 years old starts writing letters because she was not happy the way she was treated when we took one of her toy, I said she's gonna be an author. Today she published 4 international books. But that, we talk about family.
1 second. Let me say something here. His daughter published 4 books. Please disseminate and echo. How old was the daughter when she did her first book?
Thank you. She was 7 years old.
Wait a minute. 7 years old. Mm-hmm. 7 years old. And my first books was 30. He was right. The Aurora special. Go ahead.
Yeah, so,
Hello.
but it's so important to say that. Why? Because we talk about legacy. As kids, I remember one long time ago, the day I gave you that thing, they're all small. I said,
Right.
man, we look like cartoon characters. They're looking so cute. They're all sleeping in a van. I was like, oh my God.
Okay.
And back then, Tarman, 16, was a little baby. She was walking. I said, man, I never seen a baby that calm. You know, she was walking on a little thing while we were,
Yeah,
walking,
about
trying to do
yeah.
something.
Yes.
And it's so important. But we talk about why Brother Jimmie is here. So right now, you cannot see. We're looking at that monitor, and you don't even remember. That monitor, that's a monitor that you bought 16 years ago.
I thought I recognized it.
With you and Minister Baker, we went to Office Depot back in the day. And because the computer you talk about I used to have was a computer from the pawn shop, was only turning on for 60 minutes, 60 minutes at a time.
Okay, I can't recall.
Yeah.
You were saying trying to process that
So
information.
I was serving, helping my ministry, every man and woman of God for free. Now I needed the money for free with a laptop was only on and running for 1 hour max. After that, the computer shut down and I have to wait to turn it back on for another hour, then it shut it down. That's how I trained myself how to do website fast, two-step fast, because I only have 1 hour.
Wow.
So that's how bad it was. So back then, remember I used to serve you, it's okay, bro, Jimmie. And one day you went with Sister Wendy Lovejoy, God bless her heart. You have a speaking engagement, and she blessed you with a seed, you and Mr. Baker. I said, well, what are you going to do for that money? We don't really need the money like that. Not, it's like you don't need the money like that. And then the Holy Ghost drop in your spirit. So we're going to use that money to bless Brother Darcy. So you came to pick me up at her house. You said, let's go somewhere. You said, okay, Brother Darcy, what computer, I know like you've been working so hard. What computer will you buy if you ever have the money? So I went for a small computer, I remember. It was maybe $300 or something like that. And I said, like, that one. You said, like, no, we don't say that with your money. If somebody want to buy you a computer, which one are you going to use? So I went and chose another one. It was almost 1,000. It was 800 something. For me, it was like $8 million back then.
Yeah.
So, so I said, that one. I said, you want that one? I said, okay, me and Mr. Baker, we decided not to buy you a computer because you've been blessing us for years with your computer. Now you can do more. So I always keep that again, like that computer. I kept that as a reminder.
Wow.
So I don't have the tower no more, but I use that as a monitor. To remember where I'm coming from, where I started.
Yeah.
And it was back in the apartment, was almost the size of my studio now. So this is why it's so important to talk about relationship.
Yes.
Because relationship is not family, just the blood.
Right.
It's the people that God himself going to put in your life. And all those powerful relationships happen where? In the church. In my home church, where I still remember today, 24 years later. So that's why, guys, do not neglect. There's people who come in your life for a season. There's people who come in your life to stay. You need to have a discernment to recognize who are they and what they're doing. Now we talk about Bill Gates. Horace Taylor. So he come to my house. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what we were doing. But one of my friends who helped me how to use Adobe Audition. Back then Adobe Audition to record my first audio project and stuff like that. So first he gave me, but he was good in sound, so he gave me that sound. I couldn't plug it, I didn't have enough stuff. So I remember back then we used to talk about when people used to complain, people who would like to use us, but no, don't pay us, don't even give us gas and stuff like that.
Right.
And back then, your wife didn't really know me like that. I said, I don't want you, because you stay longer than what you were supposed to. I said, man, I don't want you to go back to your wife. And she's going to ask you like, hey, how much she pay you? And you're going to say like, it's a seed. She's going to say like, what? Another seed?
Oh yes.
So I said like, hey man, I cannot let you go back to your wife like that.
I know you can't identify at all, right?
Yeah,
I know you can't identify.
So yeah, what another one? So we took, so I took that. Yes, I gave that. I said, you know what? Give that. But because back then, if I have to pay you back then, I bet you asked me for 40 or something like that, $40. I mean for you guys, I believe.
And
whatever.
this is after he's forced to like, no, give me a price.
No. So I said, like, no, I have to give that because you helped me so many things. I forgot what you did, but with my computer, so I say, amen, thank you. But why is that? Why is it so important? So for people who watch me in France, you see me today, I'm doing my conferences, the equipment. How do I learn to know what I know now? So I was in Paris, France exactly a month ago in a few days.
Right.
To have a mastermind was sold out in a place and people pay a lot of money just to get access. Actually, I can say it. What they pay to listen to me for half a day used to be my salary for 2 weeks when you met me.
Wow.
What each person paid, and the stuff was sold out.
Wow.
Why is so important? So while I'm there, I'm teaching them about technical stuff. So somebody asked me, hey man, what school do you go to learn all that? I said, what school? The school of serving.
Yes.
Because if I never serve you, Minister Baker, and some of the people about the camera, I will not know what I know now. Because like now, I know enough to get the equipment, to get into my book bag, to go do international conference around the world. Now I pay somebody to hold my equipment. I don't have to rent a video equipment because I know exactly what to do because I tested everything.
Wait a minute. You notice what he just said? To be able to do at the level that they're doing. Number one, he said, in other words, some people use the terminology proven. He used the term tested. So that means he went through a process of development. And he executed and found out the pros and cons. And then number one, he was talking about value. If you understand your value, and I'm the biggest guilty of this. And people all around the world serve. That's all you try. Now, I don't have a problem. What 20,000. You gonna pay it? People like, really? When you need a surgery, are you concerned about the money? Or are you concerned about living? Now my question is now, if you really want the life that you desire, people in the world, I'm talking to the kingdom citizen right now. The people in the world, $20,000 to $30,000 a ticket to go to a concert, $200,000 for a football game, Super Bowl. Think about this now. Our values. And then if your child needed a laptop, but you would buy them Jordans. Take our priorities out now. What I like about my daughters, at 3 years old, 2 years old, they're taking these children to the library. 10 books and 20 books. My youngest one, not my second, but my youngest granddaughter, since you were talking about testing, she just wants one award for a couple hundred books at 4. Check that out. So I want to say, what's happening here is that I like what Brother Horace is talking about. Don't be the smartest one in the circle.
No.
Who's mentoring? People ask me, well, Dr. Lucas, I know you don't have, and I straighten them out. Yes, I have financial mentors, engineering mentors, even though I have a background in all that. Every area, economically, physically, spiritually, even people that by finances.
You can put it back if you want. You put it
So I just want to say thank you.
You can do that and put yourself up.
So get excited about something.
Yeah. There we go.
And these gentlemen right here took time out. And I kind of cornered them on purpose because I wanted the world to hear the things they don't say. But they live through a process of development. They live through growing in a relationship with one another and other in their circles to enhance their life economically, physically, spiritually, socially, financially, relationally, and leadership. They are leaders in their fields of expertise.
Yep.
They're not novice, so they need to get paid well.
Right.
Not like, oh, this is I like when a speaker was sharing. He said, "I don't do honorariums. I get mine's fee." See the difference? They're bold enough to say that. I have to learn. I'm learning that and still learning because they get on me. And I know my value is way up there.
Yeah.
But guess what? I said, no, I just want to be a blessing. But if you're in a position to do that, then do that. As God, let me say this. As God
leads you. Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Now, no hook up. I like what Brother Horace said. No.
Yeah.
This is the cost. Walmart, Penny's, Macy's, they don't negotiate a price. Red bottoms, Coach, Goonie, Dewey. What? Oh, these red bottoms, this one $1,500. Okay. Oh, these tickets to this Super Bowl, it's only $20,000. Okay. That wasn't a negotiation. Why is it with Christian or kingdom citizen we got to negotiate? Versus saying, if they approve it,
yes, hey. I believe it's a lack of education. And I'll be finished with this. So when I say like you hear me now, you see me traveling and stuff. Like I remember I was talking to us one day. I was in Ivory Coast, and so I give him a call. I say, "Hey man, where are you?" I said, "I'm in Ivory Coast." I say, "Man, you cannot just talk like that. Like you're warm out. Like what you doing?" I said, "Like no, I'm doing my world tour." And the way I did my world tour, that's when people start saying like, "How in the world you did it?" But if they don't understand, you understand. Like I got my passport, my first passport in 1985. So
wait a minute. So, let me say something. You just made a point. Let me say something out there, or the pretenders. I'm not getting on you, but let's elevate truth and integrity. How can you have an international ministry and you don't even have a passport? Think about what I just said. People are saying these things, and these supposed to be people in the media. These are people having ministries, and that's why people say, well, believe it or not, I'm a speaker. People say, well, but you get donations, you get all that. I know my anointing, my call. They call me all kinds of things. Bishop, doctor, apostle. And I say I'm the guy for the customer lifestyle. That doesn't make me. They very seldom hear me use the term I.
Right.
Don't do it because it's not about me. But I'm only saying this for an example because we love you so much. And I believe without a doubt what these gentlemen have shared. They're making a mark of fossilizing something in your heart. It won't be erased. It's going to make a mark. It's going to make a change because you're going to begin to think about it. They were there. If they tell you stories, you mind if I say this when you Uber drived?
Yeah.
Did you hear what I just said?
But
10 hours a day. He got stories in his book.
Before
coming to America.
Before you come to America, I got the new version we just came out. I don't know if I told you. Before you leave America, part 2. Right. I just dropped it.
That was a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago.
I just dropped it.
So I'm excited about that. And I have about whatever kind of books that I tend to.
No, I got you at the end, but it's so important. Let me just say something real quick, Brother Jimmie and Brother Horace. So now today, you see me traveling the world, literally. Been in 4 continents. This year has been 9 years of world tours. 9 years of world tours by the grace of God. Be able to launch the biggest coaches from African descent in the French diaspora. They came from my conferences, the activation tour. Some people, 3 million, 4 million followers and more, and recognized by Forbes Africa. The list go on and on. One of my first, give shout out to her, client, Nabu Fall, who's very close to Dangote, Aliko Dangote, the richest man in the world. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's not name drop. It's just like sometimes the level of connection was so...
It need to be, you see what you say is not... Let me say something about that. And when we're in the media, it's a different... if you have security, I didn't say insecurity. Security is about... we need to elevate people the right way. It's not about trying to prove. If you already know who you are, there's no name dropping. So you're not name dropping.
Yeah.
You already know you're secure in who you are. You know, because people, and they have gotten on me because I don't say a lot of things that I do. And I've been guilty, and God has really been getting on me about that because a lot of people know me and a lot of don't know because it's over 10 billion people almost on the earth now. So the point that he is trying to say that God has blessed him to be around a community of affluent people.
Worldwide.
Worldwide. Now, see,
serious.
I'm ministering in Europe. I can tell you about all the places around the world that God has blessed me. We're not talking about this decade. We're talking about decades from the 70s to now. And I'm honored. But the thing about it is, what's happening is it takes family, people supporting you. Don't be like the old school, because my generation is different from their generation.
Right.
And people are like, I got to do what God say, and you get amnesia in your family. Let me say something. I shared with them some years ago that 1988, 87, 88 television over the world's wide. Because my name was just getting bigger. And the Holy Spirit said, your queen, your wife is not ready. Don't. Because I didn't want to get so famous and lose my family.
Come on now.
That's not going to happen. And so I pulled back, and guess what we did? A live call-in broadcast called Voice of Light at Midnight. I was home, and it was successful, and people talked about it all over El Paso, Texas. And it just went, we used the term viral then.
Right.
You know, we use another term, but I can't even recall the term. We didn't use the term viral because the computers wasn't out.
Popular, I guess.
It got popular.
Right.
That was the word we used. We didn't say it went viral because the computers wasn't doing that. They wasn't there. The phone wasn't there.
Right.
So I just want to say to Mr. Ogandaga that we're proud of you. We're thankful. The world needs your empowerment. We need that voice of our family, our business, bringing the marketplace to kingdom business so they can understand that you don't have to compromise who you are as a believer when you're in the marketplace.
Nope.
You don't have to do that. Don't get it twisted. Because all the things in the marketplace came from the word.
Right.
The principles came from the word. So I encourage you to keep empowering, giving people the wisdom that God has given you, sharing about family, let them know that something that we've been teaching for about 4 decades, that you serve to lead and you lead to serve.
Yeah.
That's so important because my wife and these guys, they try. But they're not going to outlove me, they're not going to outserve me. That's when I focus on me when I say those terms, because I want to let them know that I'm honored and grateful to serve them and to lead them while I'm serving them. And that's what you need to do, leading your giftings, leading your talents and abilities and skills. Because I don't know about music, I don't know about the technical. That's why God put people around you that's so good. Let me say something, thank you, Holy Spirit, that you're not better than anyone, but you can do things better.
Come on now.
We need that gifting, your talents and skills. Because, Brother Horace, it's like, to me, like the number one engineering and DJ and all that stuff in the world. But guess what? He might not know how to fix a car. You're better than him in that area. But you're not better than him. You're just better skilled. I want y'all to understand that. So if any individual ever think or send a message as though they are better, they are not. That usher is just as important. The greeter is just as important as the pastor. Hello. So I want to encourage you guys. And I encourage you pastors. Employ those giftings. Deploy those giftings in the body. And do not be insecure. So I want to say thank you for this time. It's been a custom built time. It's been a time that, they talk about their queen. I got to talk about mine. I am thankful. God has blessed me with another king. Some of you guys might know that my first queen, 37 years, 5 months, 17 days, transitioned some years ago. And I was a blessed man and still a blessed man. But God has given me an awesome queen that takes care of me. She's an organizer, she's a businesswoman. She's an anointed woman of God, teaches the word. but she's like in the background, like Brother Horace like to do, you know. And brother Darcy Esso, he know when to when it's time, because he did the background stuff for me and for our organization because of the lifestyle. So I want to say thank you to you, and thank you to you guys for being examples in the community and family, relationship, and business, and doing what you're doing and making, like I guess like we say, world changers. And all of us came from these years we've been there on the world changers, and all those leaders that's there. We're grateful, and we don't lose ourselves because of them. We're grateful for them, but we're leaders around leaders.
That's it.
So I just want to say thank you for, and this is Leadership Month. We have to recognize our leaders. You know, Pastor Taffy, Pastor Dollar, and all these other, and Brother Horace pastors down in Florida and things like that. We want to say thank you to you guys for allowing us to rise and being men and women of the gospel, and men and women in the marketplace, changing lives as millions come to these homes so we can be able to make a mark that never can be raised in there, and making a mark that no one else in the world can do. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And my heart goes out to you guys, and thank you guys for tuning in for such a time as this. Blessing to you. Anything, last words?
Yes, so make sure that you know how to reach Brother Jimmie Lucas to his book, Stand Out. His book, Custom Built by God, one of the greatest books on leadership. Yes. Even the late Dr. Miles Monroe was impressed by that book. He will not tell you that. Dr. Mike Murdoch, love his book too.
Yes.
So, it's like, this is what I want you to remember at the end of this broadcast or podcast or interview. Trust God. You see, you have to trust God, and I know sometimes it looks impossible, but you have to trust God. Like every time I prepare myself to go to a world tour, I always say like, man, do I really need to go there? I just want to go to Walmart like everybody else. No, seriously. Sometimes I say, I just want to watch football.
Yes.
All Saturday. Like sometimes, I don't know who told me. Like some guys say like, wow. With some guys, all Saturday they watch football.
Yeah.
They start from 10
that's not me.
to. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
What a luxury! What a good life. I'm just. But sometimes when you have a calling, like. I was going to pay, and it even sounds crazy. So somebody said like it's tired to go to Europe, but sometimes that flight, I don't care what.
Brother, 6 hours and 6 hours, brother.
You know what I'm saying?
Like Germany, we're going to Europe and those other countries.
Yeah, you have to cross.
Man, Austria. That's a flight.
Yeah,
I know about those flights.
And sometimes I have to go down to West Africa and Central and all that, and go to the French Caribbean, not too far from Venezuela, Martinique and Guadeloupe and all that, and Canada. But I'm grateful. I just want you to be focused on what God called you to do.
Yes.
And we talked about years ago. I knew what I saw and I believed, but it was looking impossible. I say it was looking impossible. But today, I'm telling you, I'm traveling the world. I got students from all around the world. I can pop up to a country and have 500 people waiting for me in any capacity with no ads, nothing, just because I trained somebody 4 or 5 years ago and they blew up in the entire country.
I say this.
Remember,
yeah,
you see there, you trained.
Yeah,
you gave people time and energy.
Yeah,
and before I know you sent in. I know that most people know you. In case those that might have listened, that new viewers are listening, can you just at least let them know how they be able to contact and get?
Oh yes, thank you. So, reformationleadership.com. Reformationleadership.com. You can get our books. You can get anything that how to contact, how to work with us, how to consult with us, all that will be there. And that was an impromptu interview. But we want to just maximize the time that we are all three together in one room.
Yes.
We just want to encourage somebody today and to let you know that God haven't forgot about you.
Right.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Brother Horace. You was about to say something. Before we close out.
Yeah, I wanted to touch everything that Brother Darcy had said. I remember when I used to be on the radio, and they have some guy called Charlemagne the God. They used to call me Charlemagne the Odd. Because they say I'm similar. I'm like the gospel version of him or whatever. But I found it imperative to, let's say you come in to promote a book, and I'd ask somebody, if you're dealing in truth, you shouldn't be offended, right? If I say, okay, is your book any good? And they're like, why you ask me that? Like, that's offensive. Like, is it? I mean, we're promoting it, right?
Exactly.
What will your book do for me? Why should I buy your book? What makes it so special? When you said, clearly you can hear he's from another country. You have a book before you come to America. How dare this guy tell people about America? He's not even from here. Then now, how dare you write a book, say, before you leave America? We're in a time frame where people look at social media as truth, right? This man listed off what he's been doing for all this time. Teaching, training, writing books. His daughter has more books than people who are 10 times her age.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
What qualifies him? He didn't mention it. He said he's toured different continents, right? He's actually lived on different continents.
Yes.
Okay? Big difference. He didn't just visit. He actually lived. Okay? Little nugget in one of his books, you have to buy the book to get it. He slept under a monument that's a bucket list for people. They wait till they retire and save up money to go and visit. He's like, oh no, I slept under that. Okay? So now we have a thing called expats.
Yes.
And it's all, especially black people, we got to go, we got to move here. Before you leave America, get the book to find out, because he's lived there. Okay? He's not going with a camera and tourist thing. People are waiting on him. Okay? That's what qualifies him to have a book like that. Before you come to America, what qualifies him is because he did something a lot of you expats want to do. It's a difference when you come from a land where you have to work harder than the average Joe for it. You come to a place that's normally, we have resources that, when they say God bless America, it's not just a cliche. Like, there's things that we have, like, I'm going to be real about it. I say, I'll travel. My wife loves to travel. I'm okay here, but I'll travel anywhere she wants to go. I just want to visit the American side of that country. Even my own country, Jamaica. I want to go to America, Jamaica. I want to go to the part of Jamaica that other people think is Jamaica. I don't need to visit the native. He's seen these parts. So when you say I want to move to, when you move to a country, you have to learn the language, the lingo, the attitude, the demeanor, culture, all the kind of things. Yeah. That's a major culture shock. So before you leave America, we don't know what it's like to have to deal with different cultural environments.
Yes.
I'm from Brooklyn, pre-gentrified Brooklyn. So when we walk through neighborhoods, we walk through countries. There's no, hey, speak English. It's like, speak Pakistani, speak Spanish, speak French. Like, if you're in that neighborhood, you have to know the language, the culture, the food, everything to operate to get through there. So here, this happened, and this could segue, we're not going to do it tonight, we'll be here forever. One of the biggest things the church battles with is fellowship. We talk about don't forsake gathering and coming up. We want to get bodies in the church, and what happens? We got to get to church, get the word, got to serve. After that, I'm about to get something to eat. We don't fellowship. We've grown because we have relationship. We fellowship. We made time because you make time for what's important to you.
Come on now.
Okay. We are doing what started this whole relationship. It started on time. We invested time. We didn't have the money. Okay. we didn't have the money. He's trying to give away the money. He just wants to invest the time just to show. And that's a gift that you have that we appreciate. You have a gift to make every person feel like they're the most important person in the room.
Yes.
Okay. People see through you, and I shared it with you in private. People just like, I'm not even there. You see people through,
I'm honored.
When you invest, I'm looking at the screen, this is what I do. I used to buy and sell this equipment. So I understand things. I'm like, I can't compare to that, because my first thing is like, why don't you tell me I could have built you something? They got him this top of the line thing, like you guys knew he was going to be this big person today. Okay, you are important to me. Like, why aren't you doing this stuff now? Like, you call me Bill Gates. I'm like, why are you calling me Bill Gates? And I'm stepping out now. You know, I was one of two technicians that redesigned the whole Fulton County infrastructure into Sandy Springs, St. John's, Milton. Was it Milton Creek, whatever it is now?
Yeah.
That's how long. I one of two technicians. Every single, if electricity ran through it for technology for the government, I did it.
Look at that. See,
But I'm questioning myself. Why you call me Bill Gates? You know,
It's so good. Like he came today.
first time I said it publicly.
learn to
Yeah,
receive.
and I'm so I'm so proud of you. Man.
Growth. Yeah, I grow. I'm growing.
But he came here, monsieur. You know, that's the first time in this studio, not the old one.
Yeah.
In my house. So he come in. He said like, "Hey, you should. I mean, you need a fan. Like it's automatic. It's just that because that's automatic. I didn't even know. He said, listen to the sound. You need to cool off. You know, so stuff like that. That is so good with computers. That's why I said, you know what? I cannot just call you by your name. I have to call you Bill Gates. So even now, my kids, my daughter, she's 10. She said, like, Daddy, do you know Bill Gates? I said, yes, I know the Jamaican Bill Gates.
So I want to say something before we
Yes.
go. I'm so honored, and first of all, let me say my name is Jimmie.
Oh, yes.
Y.
Yes.
It's Jimmie Lucas. You can go to jimmielucas.com, Custom Built Lifestyle. And we have an organization of leadership, relationship, and stewardship where we empower leaders and men, women, and families about their purpose, their destiny, and our books. We have 12. When I released them, they all mean that they were going to be giving. We give a lot of things away. Reason being because we want it easy for you. Because if we don't make it easier for the generation to come, I didn't say easy to purchase. I said easy to develop you so you can make it easier. Because if our parents had more, did more, was in a better position, then we can use the proper legacy. The legacy is land, finances, not just quote unquote character. You got to leave something so they can work with something, so they can be able to have something, so they can make it easy for the next generation. Right. Think about you. If your parents had left your house, left you finances, would your life started better? Yes. And we have to think like that now. When I was growing up, 7 years old with a book, really? I mean, my book was, I think I was 40. After that, the 10 books later, but it was because a teacher, you used to have a relationship. This is one in the 90s, and I'm going to shut it off because I'm getting kind of sensitive here. Mrs. Shelton, a substitute, not a substitute, they used to call teachers aides when I was going to school.
Yeah.
She was an aide. Mrs. Shepard, she asked me something in 94, 95. She said, Jimmie Lucas, are you still writing? I said, no, ma'am. That's all she asked me. One question. I went back to El Paso, Texas, and the Holy Spirit said, and this is what I want to say to you before we cut this off. He asked me, how long are you going to treat me, your family, your children's children, and the people around you, all the gifts, the skills, the talents, and abilities I placed inside you? I said, God, I'm teaching. He said, but you got to go beyond the walls where you are. It's got to. I was like, oh. And because I always tell people, if my nose on this side of my face, no one in the world is like me. Because I always talk about uniqueness, and people say, you're just different. My football coach said at 11, you said, young man, you motivate people, you inspire people. You give life to people. I said, Coach Pugh, I just want to do my best and let Jesus do the rest. I just said that. So I want to encourage you. God custom built you for a reason. Read the word. Get in the word. And enjoy your family, enjoy life. And don't put unnecessary pressure on your family and your children. We love you guys. Blessings to you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Whatever you plan to do.
I'm just playing.
Darcy Ogandaga, pioneering global media strategist and AI innovator. About Darcy Ogandaga. Darcy Ogandaga is a world-renowned global media strategist, international speaker, and consultant with a distinguished career spanning back to 2002. Over the years, he has collaborated with influential figures such as Bill Winston, Miles Monroe, Dikembe Mutombo, Bishop Jakes, and Dr. Creflo Dollar, playing a pivotal role in expanding their reach beyond the United States. Professional journey. With an illustrious career, Darcy Ogandaga has undertaken 7 global tours across 4 continents in 7 consecutive years. His expertise has been instrumental in coaching the top 10% of French African coaches and experts in the French diaspora. Through his guidance, these professionals have not only expanded their influence, but have also generated millions of euros and reached millions of people, thanks to innovative marketing strategies and leveraging new media. Innovation in AI tools. Darcy Ogandaga stands as a pioneer in the integration of artificial intelligence tools for global expansion. Recognizing the evolving landscape of technology, he has embraced I empower experts, coaches, speakers, and pastors. His forward-thinking approach positions him at the forefront of the industry, reshaping the way professionals engage with global audiences. Accomplishments? Worked with esteemed figures like Bill Winston, Miles Monroe, Dikembe Mutombo, Bishop Jakes, and Dr. Creflo Dollar. Conducted 7 global tours on 4 continents over 7 consecutive years. Coached the top 10% of French African coaches and experts in the French diaspora. Generated millions of euros and reached millions of people through marketing and innovation strategies. A pioneer in utilizing AI tools for global expansion.